All right. So, finally happened, fellas. Today is the day where we got the announcement of the April regulation. And in typical TPCI fashion, it raises more questions than it answered. Because, yeah, let's rip the band-aid off. The worst double restricted format since 2016 is back. Hello, Regai. So yeah, get your CSR Zama matchups ready again. But the reason I wanted to do this is not just to say, oh yeah, Regai is back. Because it's the read more section of this link that is the true head scratcher. Because yeah, it's just saying the standard stuff. You can read all of that at your own leisure, but the most important part is the with no effective end date at this time. Regulation F ending on March 31st, as we said, and April 1st, Regulation I comes back, and we don't know when it's gonna end. And there's a couple possibilities for that. Like, the first thing is, like, why isn't it just, like, announced until April 30th? Like, we can assume it's, like, a one-month regulation, hopefully. At this point, the open-ended nature can go, like, two directions. Because either they will just say, okay, starting from Champions release date, we're gonna make it the official game for VGC. Which would be an odd choice, because they did that in Sun and Moon, and if any of you remember the first EUIC, I do because I was there, it was an absolute mess, because in Europe in particular, the game came out late, and 2 weeks later there was the first EUIC. I don't know anyone that participated in that event that liked it, so I always thought that Champions was going to come out in, like, March or something and give us a grace period of like a month to just get acquainted with it. But yeah, the other direction of like it being out as soon as, or like it being available as soon as it's out, is that it's gonna bleed into May. Because there's one other announcement that is a big head scratcher, and that is in regards to the first global challenge, which we know will be used as a qualifier for Japan Nets, so it's a pretty big deal to the people in the land of the rising sun. But to us it just became quite unimportant, because if you don't care about getting that Venusaur in free games, the most important aspect is lacking, because championship points will not be offered for this competition. So, the speculation becomes torn wide open again, because does that mean they don't want this to give out championship points because that's not going to be the official start date of the first VGC Champions regulation? What does it mean? So, we know that Champions has to be out by, at the very latest, April 23rd, because that's when the registrations for the first Global Challenge start. But other than that, we just know this weird time period of April this year. So this got me back to thinking about the event calendar, because what got announced was the Master Ball Leagues. Because the thing with all of that is that the Philippines Basketball League, which is on the same weekend as Prague Regionals, and the Hong Kong Basketball League, which is on the same weekend as the Global Challenge, are both set in Reg F, which is even weirder for us in hindsight, because at this time we're going to be playing a whole different regulation in the first place. So now we have to assume that perhaps it's going to be available officially after the GC weekend, which would be a choice. But considering that the other Master Ball leagues are going to be played in Champions, I want to assume that even with a lack of communication between the Pokemon Company and the Pokemon Company International, there is not going to be a timeline where the Master Ball leagues are going to be Champions while we're still playing Reg I. I very much hope that this format is going to be mercifully short-lived, because I'm just tired, man. And even, this is just a victory, but even on the official sites for like the Malaysia Master Ball League and the Singapore Master Ball League, it is confirmed that champions will be played there, so I hope that there's gonna be no backtracking on this, but fellas, I'm worried. Like, what does this effectively mean for champions? Because you have to remember, the April release date is not the full scope of things, because it's just the Switch versions, not the mobile versions. And man, at this point people are again complaining that maybe it won't be played until NEIC. This was just me wanting to really summarize all of that real quick, because it boggles the mind, really. Really? So yeah. Tell me what you think about it in comment section below, and until there's more news, I'll see you.